What's going on, guys? This is Ryan with Dark Outpost, and today I'm looking at what is going on with Rise of Skywalker, the newest updates for opening weekend, and yeah, it's starting to look more like on that lower end. A couple months ago, reports came out, even though, go ahead and show you, we had all these things saying, Star Wars 9 breaks Force Awakens Fandango ticket sales, and it's breaking records for Black Panther and Endgame and all these things. When we really found out, we talked about on this channel, they were talking about just like over an hour's period of time. It's not exactly the big, huge selling thing that people like to think it was. But we found out yesterday, Rise of Skywalker could score massive $200 million opening weekend, which in comparison to everything else, you have to put in perspective, $200 million is a lot. However, when you think of it in the terms of the Sequel Trilogy, or as we like to call it, the Disney Trilogy, it's not really that great. That would be the lowest of all of them. So let's get in the article here. Given demand for the Skywalker saga epic conclusion, Disney and Lucasfilm space operas on pace to start between $175 and $200 million, according to early tracking. While that figure won't come close to Endgame, it would still rank among the best domestic views of all time, which is true. Rise of Skywalker would more realistically land an impressive bunch. Includes Infinity War, Force Awakens, 247 million, Star Wars: The Last Jedi, 220, and then Jurassic World, the only ones to ever go above 200. That would be significantly lower than The Last Jedi, guys, and that's really what we're looking at in comparison to the Star Wars movies. And then they talk about how ticket sales are down a little bit this year, kind of, trying to give excuses. But you go down, and I wanted to look at this right here. And, it's true. I've always thought that this movie would get to $1 billion. And when you look at this, Star Wars will close out Disney's unprecedented year at the box office. The studio shattered records with Endgame. 4 other films have released: Lion King, Captain Marvel, Toy Story 4, and Aladdin, that have grossed over $1 billion. And Frozen 2 is really doing well. It's likely to hit $1 billion. And then Rise of Skywalker would come at the end of the year. Now, I'm completely honest. I would like for it maybe not to make that much money yet. Maybe to show that the message was truly sent by so many people out there, that there was that little interest. And I do think we've seen that. Months ago, ItchyBacca, wrote an article on, his website, Disney Star Wars is Dumb. And I'll go switch to that right now so you can see it. Disney Star Wars is Dumb. What a great little banner right here. But interest in Skywalker not rising for Episode 9. And he showed this graphic. So I will now pull up this graphic for you. And you can see right here that... I'll move myself a little bit. Move myself up top so you guys can see a little better. Now, this is over time with The Force Awakens in blue, The Last Jedi in red, and Star Wars Rise of Skywalker in yellow. And this is tracking the interest for these films. Now, as you can see, it's overlaid with because they're all around the same release date in December, this huge spike of interest in The Force Awakens. We get to The Last Jedi, and there's a smaller, a smaller spike, but still pretty sizable, right? Still pretty sizable. And then you have this little guy right here. This is the Rise of Skywalker spike. That is abysmally low, guys. It's hard to even fathom how small that is compared to those other two. And, ItchyBacca goes out and says he predicts it'll do less at the box office. So I'm not going to quite do that, but make sure you guys go give ItchyBacca a follow out there and check out his website from time to time. But why? Why is interest so low? Obviously, we are here in the Fandom Menace. We have an idea of what The Last Jedi did to the fandom, and then what Lucasfilm employees and the Access Media has done since then. And, things like this aren't really helping. The Mandalorian's Baby Yoda further exposes fandom's Mary Sue hypocrisy, attacking the fandom, if you can see right here. Keep forgetting to click over my camera for some reason today. Now, if you can notice, today I'm using something called Web Archive. I don't know if you guys can see that very clearly or not, but I'm going to try to start using that as much as possible and linking articles in archive form Now, what that does is it actually prevents them from getting another view on that site and doesn't let them get any clicks for ad revenue. So I'm going to start trying to do that. I might do a video on how you can do the same thing if you want to archive a page for yourself to spread it around so it doesn't get clicks. Because I think that's important to do with all these sites out here that are just trying to, one, generate outrage through clicks, and two, not rewarding them for insulting us. And what I mean by insulting, this may not be that insulting. Now, I, for one, have talked about this comparison, so obviously they're not paying attention to everyone, but I have talked about this before. And then we have things like this. Again, using the Wayback Machine, the Internet Archive, Star Wars director J.J. Abrams addresses franchise's toxic fandom menace. And this is essentially a recap about the article that broke yesterday, or 2 days ago, which was the big interview with J.J. Abrams, where he did call the fandom menace by name, talking about how toxic we were. So what a shock that people don't want to see this movie when the people involved with it keep talking this way towards us. And then we had a big one a couple days ago. Again, archived. I will link all of these archived things in the description of the video. I know there's going to be a lot of people talking about this. A lot of people talking about this tomorrow. Now, the elephant in the room. This is talking about how Mandalorian and Fallen Order are playing it safe. So, just so you know. But while everything is safe, there's another reason the vocal fandom menace hasn't complained about the new Star Wars. And that's because both The Mandalorian and Fallen Order focus on the exploration of men. Now, that's kind of crazy, isn't it? Isn't that what, Solo, a Star Wars story? Don't you think that was an exploration of men? I suppose it featured a male lead. Is that what you mean? Is that what you mean in this article? Because I can tell you that the fandom menace didn't support Solo. You can tell by the box office. Right? Didn't do so hot, did it? Now, what a lot of people in this community did go out and support was Rogue One, which was, hold on. Yeah, there was a female lead. That's right. Interesting. Already, your narrative is out the window. What a shock. While hate for this film has cooled down in recent years, The Force Awakens was in many respects a safe return to Star Wars lore. I would actually say that the disdain for The Force Awakens has only increased over recent years as the wool continues to be pulled off everyone's eyes and they see it for what it truly was. Sure, it has problems with its world building and establishment of lore, and the film recycles many elements. However, the big risk The Force Awakens took was the larger focus on diverse cast, with Rey and Finn being core characters. And they talk about how it's primarily been focused on white men, from Luke to Anakin. Well, okay, you could have used more examples, I suppose, if you wanted to. People of color like Lando and Mace Windu, while popular, are often served as secondary characters. And then they talk about James Earl Jones, but we just heard his voice. The Mandalorian is played by Pedro Pascal, but like James Earl Jones, we only hear his incredible voice work, we don't see his face. Cal Kestis looks like Cameron Monaghan, because it is. While both have diverse casts of actors and characters, the diversity is less visible than mainline Star Wars titles. Which means, here it is, here it is. This is why we're not interested in seeing this movie, because whether it is J.J. Abrams, or Rian Johnson, or Chuck Wendig, or Pablo Hidalgo, or whoever at Lucasfilm, or it's the Access Media, people like this, saying, which means that the racist and sexist members of the fandom have little to publicly complain about while discussing forced diversity. Diverse casts remain a huge risk. While both Fallen Order and The Mandalorian are superb, it is undeniable also that part of their pacifying impact on the Star Wars fandom is due to bigots not complaining. Bigots not complaining. So the attacks are going to start ramping up. With J.J. Abrams actually naming the fandom menace like we talked about yesterday, so many more people are going to go out. Now that he has actually publicly acknowledged it, he's said the name, right? Now that that has happened, you're going to see more articles like this naming people. And again, I do think that at this time where it's clear that they are out and after the fandom menace, it's going to start getting personal, I'm going to use Internet Archive more and more. I do think I'm going to do a video about how to use it so you guys can utilize this tool as well so we can cut off their ad revenue. when they're insulting us in this way. But let me know what you think. Did you catch any of these articles? What do you think about the news that Rise of Skywalker is going to be the lowest, or projected to be the lowest opening weekend? Personally, like I said, I do still think it'll make $1 billion, and they're going to cry that as a huge achievement, when in reality, this is the finale, right? Should be making a whole lot more than that. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Make sure to smash the like button, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, share this video, and I will talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.